Good evening, folks. Welcome to our 231st broadcast here tonight in the Issues Room. And we're coming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and on our Issues Room page. We say thank you for joining us tonight. If you're there, please let us know you're here. It's good to have you in company here in the Issues Room on this 231st edition. I'm Volcano Shelton, and shortly I'll be joined by my colleagues. But in the meantime, I'd like to invite you to please share the link, invite others here, your contacts in your Facebook page, increase the numbers here tonight because we're going to have a good conversation. Hashim Fambule, good evening, welcome, and please share the link on your end, my brother. We expect a lot of the folks who are our regular viewers here to be here tonight. Thomas Awaji, we're looking forward to Adiaha, Christopher, I mean, Godwin, we are doing, and all of you guys. And again, tonight conversation would be a good one. We'll be looking at the issue with the Weah government bragging about paying WAEC fees for students over the last 6 years they were in government. And we're hearing that the WAEC, which is the West African Examination Council, is being owed in the tune of nearly $6 million. So what was being paid? Is it the WASSCE fee, the WAEC, what it is? So we're going to be having that conversation tonight. Could it just be a 419, like people say? So we're gonna hear from the panel here tonight, and some of you who will join us. Is our hope that you will have your own perspectives on the matter to weigh in the chat, and then when we open the lines, you can contribute. We also want to talk about the Liberia National Police rollout exercise to kind of restrict the bikers in Liberia, especially in Monrovia and its suburb, from certain streets and areas in the country. How is that exercise going? There've been mixed feelings about it. I'm hearing from folks. Some people are in agreement, some people are not. And, so we're going to talk about it tonight. And what does it mean for our country as we move toward what we consider the normal times? Rivers Pro, welcome, my brother. Good to have you. Let me bring in Moses and Alphonso. Gentlemen, welcome. Moses, can you talk? Can we hear you tonight? No, Moses, don't do this again tonight. Don't do this. I can hear you. I can't hear you, Moses. Don't do this tonight again. Seriously. You remember what we did? Try to check it out. Yeah. I'm hearing Alfonso. In the meantime, we'll put you backstage as you figure out things. Alfonso, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm here. I was trying to connect to a lot of other stuff, and I got something on my screen, but I hope you can see me. But yeah, I'm glad to be
Yeah,
here,
you're
man.
live. I can see you. You're live.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'm glad to be here to join you in the conversation. I hope Moses can join us, and I hope our audience can join and participate actively in the conversation as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Moses. Uh, Moses, can you hear us? Okay, so you're still having problem, but this will be a serious problem. We worked on his stuff uh at the end of the last production, and he filtered through, and everything went well. So I'm not sure why he's not coming through again tonight. Because I'm hearing you, and I'm sure the audience hearing him. So let's hope he plays around it and get this thing going. But Alfonso, tonight I just thought for us to just before we go into the full blown conversation, it's trending on social media here that President Boaka, the other day our broadcast centered around the business as usual, and we pointed out some things. You were not fortunate to join us because of work. Um, but there's a story going around about President Boaka riding private jet to go to Guinea-Bissau. Um, eh, I think the comparison here is he going to do the same thing as former President Weah did? Um, People are saying that This is what we frown on President Weah for, and how dare he does it. Um, from what I've gathered, and you will make your analysis based on what I present, this private jet was provided through ECOWAS, um, because there was a pressing meeting when he arrived from the States in Liberia. The next day, he was weeks off to Guinea-Bissau. And in fact, they sent that little, mid-sized private plane to fly him out of there, out of Liberia to Guinea-Bissau. And it may have been the sense of urgency, and that is why, he was uh, helped to get there, because he just flown a commercial flight from Liberia to America and then back. So he had to go probably for a pressing meeting. Based on that, do you think it was wrong for ECOWAS to negotiate for President Boyka, knowing that he didn't have the means of immediate transportation, and based on his need, they needed him rather to be in that meeting?
I think we need to be careful with this whole idea of private jet, private plane, private jet for several reasons. I think the focus here on private jet and President Weah, former President Weah, was the history behind it. How he got a private jet from this, I believe it was a Volcano or whoever guy, Ebomaf, who also wanted contracts with Liberia and all of that, etc. So it's not whether or not you sit on a plane, on a commercial plane with everybody, is whether or not there is a semblance or an appearance of actual corruption and kickback. This person who gave President Weah, supposedly President Weah said gave him his friend who gave him the private jet to be using, was also looking for contracts and business and with the Liberian government. That's what the problem was. So it wasn't, well, why are you sitting on a private jet? And if, first of all, let's look at the situation in Liberia. How many does Liberia have a commercial airline? No. Do we have a presidential airline? No. So the only commercial planes that really go to Liberia are maybe those planes that take people from America and drop them in Ivory Coast, and then another small plane takes them over there. So if you have an urgent meeting, as you indicated, you're not going to wait and say, "Oh, how they call the plane?" I haven't been to Liberia, so I don't know. But you've been there. Say, Air Voix or this is not coming until Thursday or Friday, but the meeting is Monday. Are you going to say, "I'm not coming because I want to ride commercial plane, so I'm going to wait until Friday before I come when the meeting is actually Monday or Tuesday"? They're not going to do that. So
And especially if it's being provided for by,
exactly,
the host of the meeting, or the people who hosting the
precisely,
meeting, not at the
precisely,
expense of the Liberian people. There's no
precisely,
taxpayers money involved with
precisely.
this so-called private
Yep.
jet that people are trying to make that comparison with President Weah.
And you hit the nail right on the head. It's about cost to the people. It's about whether you're taking just for your own luxury, you call a private jet and using it and fueling it and do all of that. But if ECOWAS sends you a plane and say, "Come, we have a meeting," or they call you and say, "I don't have a plane, I can't come." The commercial flight comes here on Fridays. They say, "No, the meeting is Monday. We'll send you a flight." Of course you go.
Yeah.
Also, if it has to do with something really critical that's impacting your country that you must go, then spending money to go is justified. And I make this point because we all know that Guinea Bissau is one of the transit points for illicit drugs in Africa. That's where, when the drugs come from Latin American countries and Southern American countries, they go through Guinea Bissau and then they transit through Liberia, because they can no longer ship from those South American countries into Europe. So they use the route through West Africa to ship their drugs. So maybe there was a situation regarding drug shipment to Liberia, drug trafficking in Liberia, that the president needed to attend to urgently to meet with his counterpart and West African leaders. Do we expect him to wait until Friday when the commercial plane comes? No, that's unrealistic. So under those circumstances, even paying for a private jet to fly to those kind of places that will save your people's lives that will help your economy is extremely necessary. So I think we need to decipher these things and not just listen to the noisemakers in the street.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me try Moses again. Moses, are you connected? All right, not yet. Not yet. We can't hear you. All right. Let's bring in Francis. Francis, my man, how you sitting so? You sitting like you what did
I'm I'm not in my usual position. My daughter is uh doing something there on the big TV, and then my
oh,
sister is doing some stuff there.
okay.
So I don't want to infringe on their right because I gotta go on the talk show. I decided to take some kind of little corner. I'm in my little corner, no noise. But this is how I gotta be, okay?
Okay. We'll take it
Yeah. I
um,
said,
Francis, the problem is not the place you sitting, it's the way you sitting. You laying back, tell her you laying down.
yeah, I
Sit up.
lay back because I'm
yeah,
not on a chair.
yeah,
I'm not sitting in a chair. That's why. I am trying to relax, coming from eating heavy beans.
okay. All right.
I'm sorry, guys. But
Okay.
anyway, I know I'm kind of a few minutes late, but I think what Volcano said and what our brother Alphonso said, I slightly agree with you guys, but I disagreed on the issue of drugs. That the president have to go there. I don't think the president need to go there when we already have
No, no,
a
no, no,
deal.
no, no, no. It was just a hypothetical. It has nothing to do with fact. He was just making a hypothetical. If
Yeah,
President
I'm
Trump-
also making similar hypothetical analysis now with reference to the subject under conversation. Because, you know, when we say corruption in the context of Liberia, and the way majority of our people understand it, it's just about taking public money. It's not just about taking public money. When you go outside of the legal framework and decide to just use your power because you got power, that's another form of corruption, and that's stealing the public time. For example, President Barker came over here. He decided to bring 25 human beings to America, to U.S. Africa Business Summit, and we make noise about it. And there's all the reason that we campaign against that. They cut the number down to 10. But did President Barker really needed to be here? I don't think so. So hypothetically, if President Barker left from America and went back to Liberia upon arrival, decided to go to Guinea-Bissau, maybe there was the issue of drugs and all of that. It is Abiy Kuruman that's supposed to go over there. It is not President Barker. Except where there was a heads of state, at the level of ECOWAS, emergency call meeting. I don't think they can do it at that level. All right. So either way we think about it, I don't think it was any good thing to do when you actually got people who are
uh, uh, Francis,
assigned to
Francis,
this. Yeah.
Francis, you're
Yeah.
slipping off the canoe and you're gonna fall in the water.
Hmm.
Also, just made a hypothetical. Waka may have gone because ECOWAS assembled to have an emergency meeting. He was just saying something. So let's not dwell on it. I think the optics here is, was it wrong for ECOWAS to send him a jet?
I would say it wasn't wrong, even though
Hold on.
we didn't have to pay for that.
That's
That's
what I
the
was,
issue.
okay. So then that's the conversation. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with the analogy he made. Let's bring in Moses by phone. Moses,
Yeah, hi guys. It seems that technology is always beating me down to it. So it's a pleasure to be with all of you today. Do you hear me?
Moses, I'm hearing you, and I think the rest of the guys are hearing you.
Yeah, so it's pleasing to be with you guys and everyone today and to form part of this discussion. Unfortunately, I cannot come virtually, but I'm willing to contribute via telephone.
All
Thank you.
right, so here we are. We don't want to spend the best of our time on trivialities. We just told to talk about just that issue with regards to the private jet rather, and the optics and the comparison with President Boyka and George Weah. But let's go into the crust of the conversation here tonight.
Well,
We
we can, if you mind, please. I
then
just wanted to say
then
something
it's just
on
a
that
minute.
briefly.
Then it'll be
Yeah,
a
just
minute.
a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, look, like Alfonso was saying, I personally do not have any problem with any African country or the head of any African country or ECOWAS uh, giving President Boakai the opportunity to use a plane. That say, hey, we have this meeting, we want your presence, you can come. It becomes conflict of interest if the airplane that he uses is being given to him by a company or a group of business people. Then it becomes an issue that you say, well, you know what, this may influence the decision making. Let's not forget, President Boakai and his team took over a country that was financially strapped. Mr. Weah and his gang of criminals literally looted everything. Nothing. Nothing. The people basically have nothing to start from. So let's look at this current situation too, Volcano, from that perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we thought to come here tonight to hold this conversation regarding one of the main uh, benefits of the Weah government to the Liberian people. They mentioned that one of the major achievements was to pay WASSCE fees. Um, WASSCE is, or WASSCE, however they call it, is the examination piece that high schools in Liberia or middle schools, what we call junior high in Liberia, and I'm not sure if elementary students are also taking it, and to what level did they pay the fees, whether for elementary, junior high, and senior high. But is the examination that the West African Examination Council puts together for schools within the region to take. And the fee, sometimes family may be strapped. Some students are independent. When I was in high school, I had to fend for myself. And so I had to find my own WAEC fee. At the time, it was not called WASSCE, it was called WAEC, WAEC. And I had to find my own fee to pay. And it would have been better if President Doe, during Doe time, had come up with saying that, okay, we'll pay some of the fee, right? But Mr. Weah and his lieutenants bragged about paying WAEC fee over the years of his leadership. If that is the case, then why Boakai government inherited nearly $6 million? Let's talk about it. Let's start with you, Alphonso. What do you know about this situation? Then we'll go to Francis and we'll close with Moses. Let's take at least 3 minutes each to present what we know.
So I looked it up when the story came up, and it's kind of slightly confusing here. So the guy who is the chair or the representative of WASSCE in Liberia is Dale Boto. Dale Boto had a press conference and also spoke on ELBC. And he said a few things that are really striking and interesting to me. One of the things he said is that what Liberia is being held for or was potentially about to be suspended for was its fees, that its dues. They decided that every country in the West African Examination Council bloc should pay dues, annual dues to WASSCE. And Liberia wasn't current on its due payment. And
So
that
that
was
would
the
be
problem.
probably the fee to pay salaries and stuff like that, and corporation fees.
That to run the agency.
Yeah.
Boto interestingly said, and I have to really dig deeper into it, and as we go on with it, Boto interestingly said that students are not really paying YF fees. That the commission decided that students shouldn't pay YF fees once the country's member states pay their dues. So it could have been that President Weah and his people have been saying all along, by paying their dues, making it appear like they're paying the individual YF fees. Because according to Boto, there really no individual student YF fees. Member states only have to pay their dues. I'll stop here and I'll continue my research because I really want to find a specific quote from him, and maybe share it here as well. So maybe
So let's
we've been, yeah, Yeah. So
Francis
let me
has
do that while we go. Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Francis.
All right. I want to just pick up from where Alfonso left it. Also listened to that interview, but what I know for sure that I researched is that before President Weah came to being as president, Liberia was already part of ECOWAS, including WAEC or WASSCE. And so there is a administrative operational fees that every member country is supposed to pay. According to the current budget under WACI, the recast budget under WACI, there has been a recurrent fees, meaning they've been owing the people from early time, the late part of early time, coming toward George Weah time. George Weah took over, they did not pay that money, but decided to pay the political portion that they decided to bring it up to themselves, that they would pay the nominal fees that were charged for
The
examination
examination.
of our students. So now they negated our share of that money that we're supposed to pay to maintain YA operationally and also administrative costs. They didn't pay that, but they paid the examination fees, probably for political reason, even though they didn't get it 2023. So I want to stop there for now.
Moses?
Well, I listened to Alfonso and Francis. My own research shows the opposite of what they are saying.
Okay.
The opposite here is this: the $5.5 million we're talking about here is actually for examination fees. It's not for operational costs. The head of WAEC indicated that the government owed $5.5 million. An ordinary student or high school student in Liberia, if you do the math for Volcano, the person is required to pay $75 US. So if you convert that to Liberian dollars, you will be talking about 15,000 Liberian dollars. 75 US dollar at a rate of 194. It will give you 75 US dollars. So the Weah administration came in 2019. They started this whole exercise called paying Y fees for high school students and junior high students as well. So, like for this year, we have 50,000 students that register for this examination that are currently sitting the examination. The students started taking the examination on May the 15th,
Yeah.
and it will last up to June the 5th. Before the start of the examination, the Boaka administration made a partial payment of $3.5 million. So that means for the last 6 years that Mr. Weah and his people stay in office, they did not pay a dime.
A 419. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was all about lecture. And, they didn't pay a dime. They kept, making promises that they did not live up to. And this is coming from the head of why. For this year,
I mean, yeah.
I was looking this up. For this year, we have 975 schools, high schools, taking this examination. Over 50,000 students will see the examination. Of that number, and that's why I don't understand Volcano. You have 790 private schools. So if Moses Sandy can send his daughter to a private school, then why can't Moses Sandy pay the $75 or the 15,000 Liberian
And it's a
dollars?
one-time fee.
A
And
one-time
this
fee.
fee doesn't come every year. It comes at the end of this person's sojourn. in high
Yes.
school.
Mhm.
So that preparation should be made by parents, and it happened. But how you
Yeah.
come here now, you make the big show, you're not paying the people money, and then you looking for vote just to, you know.
Yeah, at least we're talking about government schools, of the 975 schools, you got 185 schools, public schools. So if Moses Sandy daughter is going to Boston and she cannot afford, Moses Sandy
So
cannot
let
afford.
let let re,
At least
let, re,
government say,
let
let's pay for the government
but
students,
let rewind quickly here. And gentlemen,
Yeah,
you guys were charming, but let's rewind quickly here. You said
yeah.
900 plus.
975 schools.
Stop. And then
Mhm.
that's the total amount of
The
high
total
schools.
number of schools,
Then
yeah.
you said the
790.
private school
Yeah.
compared to the
Government
government
schools,
school, which is
yeah, government school,
185.
185.
So
You see the difference?
that's a stock. I mean, the contrast is beyond repair. Why will you take on these private schools collecting tuition?
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
telling you, the tuition fees for private schools in Liberia, they're no joke. So why will you take on that excess burden
Mhm.
on the Liberian government, and you cannot put resources to mental health? You cannot put resources to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. You cannot put resources to other key sectors in the country, but you claim to pay WASSCE fees for all high school students across the country.
Mhm.
What type of project is that?
Political project,
It's political.
2023.
It's political,
Yeah,
Volcano.
let me unmute Alphonso.
Yeah.
What project is that?
Yeah. So first of all, and that's what we're talking about when leaders spend public resources just to benefit themselves. When leaders do not do studies, feasibility studies, when government doesn't undertake studies to find what the real needs of citizens are and where to invest the resources of the country. So it's definitely a misapplication of government resources. That's basically what it is, and it's unfortunate. Um, yeah, why are you paying for? And I always say that. I was having a conversation the other day with some people. Government pays at least $10 million every month or every few months to subsidize the importation of rice into the country. But there are people who can afford to buy rice. There are wealthy people. So why are we subsidizing everybody, including people who have enough money to buy rice for themselves? Why don't we just identify the people who have the need and spend the money on them and take the other money and invest it in rice production and other things? And this is very, very similar to that. It's because we don't sit down and do studies. The Ministry of Development Planning say what is this, what can we do, what the needs are, how can we create jobs, etc., etc. I just wanted to take us back real quickly to the issue of WAEC fees and what Boto said. Boto had his press conference, which was covered by other media, and I'm reading from New Republic here. Joe Boto, and you're right, Francis, but he said this debt is from over a 10-year period. So obviously it preceded George Weah, but the George Weah administration accumulated much of it. The point I wanted to make that Boto said is that Joe Boto further clarified, according to New Republic, that the $5 million which Liberia owes is due to what they are agreed upon as African countries to pay to the West African Examination Council headquarters. He said the payment for the examination is absolutely free for students in Africa, but the continues have to pay, and of course they don't write good English, but the countries have to pay their dues to maintain the agreement previously entered. So that's an agreement that you pay your dues. Once you pay your dues, the payment for students is free, but
Now,
you have to be able to pay your dues.
if I recall, my WAEC fee in high school during tour time was $20. If I recalled, it was
Mhm.
$20 because I hustled to get that money. I had to do some.
So you remember?
I had to do some odd jobs, my man, to take care of that money. I practically put myself through school, so I know. But it was $20 then. So when did they stop students from paying, or they took that out of the equation, because Moses, I'm sure you paid a wire fee,
I
right?
did. In fact, everyone also on this
I
talk
did too,
pay,
but what I
Francis
uh
pay, Alphonso pay,
I,
our
I
everyone
did.
also we
I
pay
did
our
myself.
parents pay.
No, no, no.
You know.
I
Yeah,
pay
I
my
did.
own. No, parents pay. I pay.
my 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 understanding here is it is sounding like a collateral process where member states, once you pay your administrative and operational dues to wire headquarters, then of course that's how it's sounding to me. Then the student don't have to pay. But I don't know. Even my older brothers that came ahead of me and big sister, they ought to why I did too, and I pay. So it's just appearing some kind of funny to me
No,
that
no.
we've been
I,
paying
I
this
don't think.
money ever since.
I think and listen, we've gone through time. I graduated from high school normal time, like they say normal time in Liberia. Before the war, put it that way.
Hmm.
1990 war, we got to have many skirmishes. So some people graduated during the war, and they can equate it to the last war of 2003. But what I'm seeing here is, at some point they may have changed it based on the constraints, the global constraints now, that government should take responsibility for that. And Liberia, considering where the country is and where it has come from, I think it was a necessary venture to take that burden of particularly public schools. Now, if you have 700 plus private schools benefiting from that, when the students are being charged, do you know how much they would charge just for graduation, cap fee, gown? The private school, what they're doing to the people in our country. So that extra burden put on the government is not sensible. The government should not be subsidizing private schools, not to say they can, but to a detriment of public schools, because public schools is their responsibilities. You have the two MCSs. You have Monrovia Consolidated School System, and you have the Monrovia Consolidated School System, and these schools within the systems, also within the Leeward counties, the multilateral schools, they're not doing
Yes.
well.
No.
They're not doing well. And so for a George Weah government to just focus on paying WASSCE fees and not focusing on the quality of education for these students to pass, that's the other part of it. Many of the students fail miserably. So you just pay that money for nothing, or you pretend to have paid that money for nothing because you brag on this exercise, making it a project as if to say you were doing a great favor for the Liberian people. And here we are now having all this debt incurred, and you've walked away scot-free, sitting there, uh, and the new government has to inherit this burden to be able to clear this debt so that they can go in good standing. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Moses,
Just
Yeah.
5 seconds.
And
Why I
the
agree.
thing I want to talk about
hold on. He said he got
what
5 seconds thought. Alfonso said he got quick
Yeah,
5 seconds.
just quick three
okay,
five.
go ahead.
Why I agree with you all that government shouldn't be paying wire fees for wealthy people. I think the underlying factor here that we shouldn't forget is that the concept here is that is the responsibility of government to educate its citizens, to provide healthcare to its citizens. It's based upon that a government subsidizes
Oh no,
schools, healthcare
I said in
institutions.
part, in part. I did
Yeah.
not, because
So
I know here
even yeah,
the government
yeah.
gives support to private universities here in America.
Private universities, even in the United States
Private
or
school.
whatever. So I just didn't want us to lose sight
Oh
of
no,
that.
no, no. We're not
Okay.
gonna be that naive to say that.
Yeah. Okay.
Moses, make your point.
Yeah, look, what I was saying is that you made mention of the importance of the why, and in terms of the progress, whether students were actually failing or passing the examination. In in 2019, when Mr. Weah introduced the WISE fee, project, where he said you don't have to make any payment. 71% of the total number of students pass the examination. 71%. So it means that 29% of Liberians who sat the examination that year actually failed. In 2020, they made some progress. In 2020, 81% of students, of the total number of students who sat the examination actually passed. And in today's world, what I also learned is that Liberian students with the WAEC diploma or certificates, if they come here, they want to go to any kind of university, undergraduate, most universities now are allowing students with WAEC certificates to enroll. You don't have to go through that regular process of either sitting for any examination. You can come with your WAEC certificate or your WAEC diploma, and you have the opportunity of enrolling in any university in the United States. But there are grades that we also need to consider. If you come at the top, then of course it makes it easier for you to enter an American university. But if you are way at the bottom, then your chances of enrolling becomes a little bit difficult. You see. And let me close on this. I heard my colleague say that it's part of the government responsibility to pay administrative fees and all of that. Then, if this is the case, then it means that even we that went to school in what then considered quote unquote normal day Liberia, then we were cheated because our parents and some of us had to pay out of our pockets. So then, what happened to that money? What happened to that money? If you are collecting $75 from every student before George Weah can say, oh, you know what? Nobody should pay. Then what happened to that money? If it is the responsibility of government to pay the administrative fees, you understand, Volcano? The government is paying the fees, then why are you charging the students? Somebody has to explain
But
something.
we don't know
for us.
what happened in our time. I remember the person who headed the registrar, or how to call him, the registrar, right? I think
Yeah, registrar. Yeah, the registrar.
it was
Yeah.
Grace Morris, the late Grace
Yes.
Morris.
Yeah, and real quickly, Moses, so the subsidy we're talking about was not directed to paying for exam fees. Do you hear me? The subsidies we're talking about were not directed to paying exam fees. We're directed
Oh, okay, I
to
got you.
supporting
Okay.
and running the schools. I know Catholic schools, CWA, all the people, Cottington, everybody received government subsidies because it's
Oh,
government
yeah.
responsibility to pay its citizens. That's what it is. It wasn't directed at YFEs. So
Oh, okay.
that's why
So
your
it means
father.
that Mr. Weah did not pay anything.
So let's close out on this. Go around the room and give your perspective on whether the 6 years of Weah claim to pay WASSCE fees is true or false. Let's start with Francis.
From all indications, like Brother Moses said, Mr. Weah and his previous government officials, they looted the country. We will say more. And some of us have supported the Barker administration, and up to this point, we cannot find any public policy framework, blueprint we call it, in project management, to see how people can account for their stewardship in the past. They actually just kind of like fool the people, as we would say, they screw them up in the name of paying watch fee. They didn't pay nothing. They did not stop there. They also went to University of Liberia and other government community colleges that no need to pay anything. And guess what? Up to this point, based on my research, they still owe faculty members. Many occasions, they threaten to lay down their check because George Weah and his criminal cartel members, they use 419 on our people and our country. But the regret, what I'm making more regrettable for us at this moment, our brother on Class Reloaded, me, I will call his name, Pierre, Information Minister. This government need to give us much more clarity on the issue of this payment. What are they paying for? Are they paying for what we are promised to pay examination costs on behalf of Liberian students from 9 and 12th grade? Or it is our contribution as a country coming from the early regime in Buakai and then Weah neglected our payment. Which one are they paying for? They need to give us a clear-cut information coming from the information ministry so that we, the citizens, can know exactly what kind of money we had them pay to WASSCE, what kind of money they didn't pay, so that we can understand it better, because the conversation getting complicated. So there is a communication problem currently with this government, Joseph Walker government. So that's how I see it. I think we need some clarity to come from the government, because we all say government is continuity. If we have to continue to pay money, and we the Liberian people, we the taxpayer, we need to understand clearly what kind of money you're paying. Are you paying it on our behalf, or you just paying it because you need to pay it?
Thank you,
That's my
Moses.
point on that.
Your point, and then we'll go to Alfonso.
I mean, the guys have already summarized everything. We need to really understand why the payments are being made. Okay, it said that Mr. Weah did not make any payment, and instead it shows that he didn't live up to what he promised. So if Waka came to fill the voice, again, say, look, to prevent our student, in order to prevent the problem that our students will not have the opportunity to sit the examination, as a responsible government, we will pay, for the time that we owe. Now, the next question here would be, will this administration continue to make the payment, or they will ask students to start making the payment themselves? I think that's what we should rather be asking Minister Pierre and the others.
Alfonso?
I think Francis made a very important point. Based upon the little research I've done so far and what Francis said, that question needs to be answered by Mr. Pierre and others in government. What are they paying for? Are they paying for individual students' examination fees, or are they paying their dues to WAEC? Again, as I said, in my research, which is not complete, Dale Boto, who is the head of WAEC in Liberia, said what government owes is not individual students' fees, it's government's dues of $5 million. And I'll read this piece from ELBC when he appeared on ELBC. He said, the country officer of West African Examination Council has clarified the Liberian government does not owe the council fees for administering the regional test. He said the Liberian government owed close to $5 million US in dues obligation. So he made the clarity on ELBC's midweek program, mid education at midweek program on Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. So it now falls on the current administration's information mechanism to tell us whether they're paying individual wire fees as promised by Mr. Weah, or they're paying government's dues to WAEC. Because Boto then goes on to say that this is not an issue of individual students paying wire fees. This is an issue of governments not meeting their obligation. He also says that individual students do not need to pay individual wire fees. Is it also that Mr. Weah was paying in government due, but presenting it as if he was paying individual wire fees, which then would be misleading and deceptive? These people need to clarify all of these things, and it's important. And I hope we have this conversation again, but I also hope that we can call upon these people to come and make these clarifications to the Liberian people, because this money belongs to the people of Liberia, taxpayers of Liberia.
Thank you, gentlemen. And I think you're right. We can probe further and see if we can bring the folks in to hold this conversation. One of the things I realized here, when people want to protect their jobs, they don't want to come to these kinds of conversation because they run the risk of being probed, and it would be detrimental to them keeping their jobs. Well, welcome to the show, every one of you. It's 7:45 in the city. We're here till 8:30, an hour and a half broadcast here tonight. I'm at Fremont, Flomo Livingstone, Jimaman, Jaman Cisco, welcome. Thomas Awaji, Christopher Wesley, River Says Pro, Hashim Fambule. Share the word. Invite others here to join us tonight. Well, the other day here, the Liberia National Police force decided to roll out an exercise that will kind of restrict the bikers or the motorbike riders in Liberia, commercial, put it that way, because I think that's all it's about. Commercial motorbike riders in Liberia from certain areas, no-go zones, particularly the Tottenham Boulevard into Monrovia, most of its major streets, and then the vice president sees the opportunity to come and meet with, after they've already agreed, the representation of the bikers and the police, IG and the team. They met, they put all the things on the table, they agreed, they came up with a date of May 15. Then I don't know what happened behind the scene. The vice president got involved and they decided to kind of change the policy and reduce it in a way, to the point where then they started to say that the people who are going to ride on those restricted areas should have a helmet, should have the bikes registered, should have insurance on it, and then the other people who would just ride around not registered, they can ride all over the place outside of the city or outside of the restricted zone. What contrast is that? How important would that be, that you will hold one group highly accountable and then you let the other group go scot-free only because of where they should ride? So you can see that the influence of the vice president, the political influence of the vice president, has some undertone. People are saying come 2029, he's looking toward running, and so the riders are one of the most prevalent population when it comes to voting. So if he's on their side now and he propagating in their interest, then they will remember him come 2029. I mean, it's coming from people. So one of the fear here for this, as we go into the conversation, is if we cannot, gentlemen, be stern about the policies that we want to implement, and with the Liberian man, you get him small, he will take more. Where are we going as a country? Where are we going before we even look at what is happening right now with regards to what people are saying? But let's talk about the policy itself and the way now that is being controlled with regards to the implementation. Who wants to go first?
I would take the lead.
Okay. Yeah, you always came from the back. Go ahead, Moses.
Yeah, look, I think the policy is good. The policy which calls for the regulation of motorcyclists in Monrovia specifically, I think it is good. Everyone of us here will agree that over the year we have seen an increase in motor accidents as a result of the reckless behavior of most motorcyclists in Liberia. There's no society the world over that thrives in the absence of the rule of law. And in Liberia, I mean, it is just a difficult society to govern because people want to have everything. Everything is politicized, no matter how well intentioned, the actions are or the plans are, but everything is taken out of context. The police came out, they said, look, in the wake of all these violations, we want to put a structure in place. The police held several meetings with the motorcyclists, their leaders, and they all agree that, hey, as of May the 7th, we will roll this out. They said, oh, yeah, go ahead. Before May 7th, they made another appeal. the time was extended to May 15. Before May 15, the leadership met with the party chairman and with other top political figures.
Hold on now.
The police agreed, yeah.
When you say party chairman, be specific now.
Unity Party chairman.
And call his name.
You know, Chairman Topic.
Okay.
You know. So the motorcyclists met with him, and as we normally do in Liberia, the political arm twisting went about, and the police reluctantly agreed that, okay, if this is what you guys want, fine. We will let this happen, but this will be the caveat. I mean, this will be the caveat that in order for these guys to be allowed to ply the streets of Monrovia, they should have the motorbikes insured, they should have helmets, and they should also be licensed. Registered and licensed. So the total cost of having your motorbike registered, having a license, getting a helmet, the total amount is $80. Volcano. It is $80. The motorcyclists are determined not to make this payment. The motorcyclists are also determined not to adhere to this very law. And what makes me a little bit very worried and concerned is that, Volcano, in the wake of the current situation, you have a lawmaker, Yeka Koloba, comes to say that the decision by the government to regulate motorcyclists in Monrovia was not well considered. He's asking that the government give the motorcyclists another 1 month. So let's assume that the government agrees. After the 1 month expires, what happens? We have the same problem. It means that there's going to be no late. Now, let me help educate Mr. Yeke Kulubaya quickly, and I'll turn over to you guys. The purpose of the three branches of government is to coordinate, not to be at war with one another. You know, the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. These three branches are coordinate or branches of government. They need to work in unison. How is Yeke Kobluba expecting Liberians to pay him when the government say, hey, you need to pay your taxes? Yeke comes and say, oh, this was not well considered. The same government he works for. He's part of the legislative branch of government. They make the law. The executive enforces the law. The judiciary interprets the law. Now the executive is enforcing the laws of the country. You have somebody who earns thousands of dollars monthly. He mounts the podium. He grants interview. I don't know whether he's looking for political favor. He comes and condemn the very government. So for kind of man, you tell me, guys, what kind of country are we running? I would like to stop there.
Francis, and then we'll go to Alphonso.
Yeah, you know, our country has been like this since 1822, based on my research. But the war is now waiting for us. The rest part of the war is now waiting for us. I think we need to take some decisive public policy action, or those actions legally that are on the books need to be adhered to. For me, again, I will keep using the word disappointment. It's a total disappointment on the part of the Barker regime, the police, IG, Minister of Transport, Minister of Justice, Minister of Commerce and Industry, and to some extent, Minister of Finance. Because Volcano, you know, I know, because we've been to Liberia recent time. The police, IG, the Minister of Transport and Commerce, they're not sitting with us to negotiate when we register our car. They are not negotiating with us when we ship our old Doisier from America to the free pool. If you don't free, the pull tariffs on it, they even put penalty on it. They're not negotiating with us whether we should get driver license or not. Why are they even negotiating with the motorbike people who are illegally on the street? That's a disappointment. I wish the IG, Gregory Coma, that I know went to good school in America, if you are having the semblance of integrity, he should just resign because the politicians have put their mouth into his job. And now, this is another issue right here.
Please hold our other
Everything.
issue. Please hold our other issue. Please hold it because you just brought it, the devil or the mean. I just shipped a car to Liberia that I paid $1,700 for to free. They compelled me to register the car even though I was leaving the country within 2 days and put insurance on it. By the time the dust settled, I had spent close to $2,000 and change.
US dollar.
The car there.
Okay. So the country is so much unfair. The leaders are so arrogant. I'm sorry, that is who they are. Okay, so the whole issue of negotiation because of political calculus, that somebody need to run election, 2029 a win, and Chairman Tape, who wanted to go to Freeport as MD, didn't get it, so he hoping on Jeremiah Kuhn. I think they got similar political ideology. I got the information the last 72 hours. He goes to him, if you say that Gregory Coma implement his job as a professional law enforcement officer, your chances of winning 2029 will be in limbo. And so our people should die. Our people should die. There is no way. The police people got clear-cut objective for the establishment of the institution of policing. Okay? It is clear. We cannot sit over the year come and go, the very thing that we spoke against. All right? Practiced by George Weah police. Now we are doing the same thing because of political reason. In the first place, there should be no motorcyclists that will get on the street of Liberia without registration. That's the first thing. Why are they out there? They don't have any registration. You know how long motorbikes people have been out there? In addition to that, they are putting 3 to 4 children on a motorcycle, and the police people are looking at it and they're dying. If you go to JFK Volcano, the next time you make a trip to Liberia, go to JFK. Saying you can broadcast in the dark. Go to JFK and hear what the nurses are telling those motorcyclists that have accident and they're cutting their legs. And they are telling them, we don't care about you guys because you're not careful. The people are tired. This is what Gregory Coma did. Because according to Gregory Coma, he considered himself Jesus Police Director. I'm quoting him on 50-50 when I was staying in Liberia. In addition to that, he considered everything around the country to be a livelihood, including motorbike people endangering themselves, their passengers, and the public. It's a livelihood. So we can't touch them like that. We have to sit down around the table and negotiate with them and negotiate with other stakeholders. Okay, that's okay. That's how you want to lead the police department because you are Jesus Police Director. I'm quoting him. Now, you negotiated with them and everybody agreed to everything. And only to go low to implement it, you narrow down everything because the Unity Party Chairman Tape and the Vice President intervened and told you slow down. And you compromise your own integrity, you compromise your own professionalism as a law enforcement officer or law enforcement professional, and narrow down to registration that they should have done everything. This is it, my people. This is what they narrow down it from count 1 to 9. Registration, license plate, insurance, 2 helmets, 1 for motorcyclists and 1 for their passenger, reflected jacket, operator license, I don't know which one they call. Okay, maybe driver license, something like that. Shoes or single on, 2 view mirrors. You know the guy can break their own mirror out. Okay, their own view mirror out. And then 1 rider, 1 passenger. That's what they narrow it down to. Even with the narrow whatsoever, this is not a new thing. This is the one on the book at the level of whatever we call it, traffic law. This is a traffic law, just like us. I can't drive in Monrovia without driver license. I carry my U.S. driver license. I also got a local driver license. I get my citizen ID. I register my car up to 2025. Okay? Why they're not negotiating with us too and to give a deadline to do it? But they are negotiating with illegal motorcyclists who are endangering the life of the public, their passengers, and themselves. Now, what is the primary responsibility of any responsible government is to protect the lives of its citizens. All the other one that we can later. But that is what the government is supposed to do. This is not a new thing. This is the law. While Governor Kuma and the police department are protecting us, why they're not implementing the law? And it is not their place to be making policy. That's not the police job. The police job is to enforce public policies, laws, regulation, and traffic ordinance. That's what they're supposed to do. But anyway, Brother Moses said they gave them May 7 hour in Liberia, including makeshift on the sidewalls. Those folks that sit on the sidewalk, they were on the sidewalk, they didn't do nothing during Weah time. They moved from the sidewalk and get on the road. Now, Joe Walker is not doing anything. Maybe he's sleeping. I don't know. So, you know what? It's just sad. It is shameful. It is a disgrace on the part of other than that we elected to do piece of job for us.
Thank you. Alphonso.
I think we need to be a little more measured in what we say and how we approach this issue. There shouldn't be a knee-jerk reaction, and we shouldn't just take things as face value and just say things, that can be inflammatory. I look, the issue of motorbike and safety in Liberia is very serious. But let me just go to some research that the World Bank did on Liberia. And what they said is that road safety, the country that Liberia has the highest estimated road traffic death rate in the world, with 35.9% fatalities per 100,000 people. In addition to that, the economic loss just from road traffic crashes is estimated to cost the country 7% of its GDP, meaning productivity. So I do understand that the issue of safety is extremely serious in the country because when it's not safe, it also undermines the economy, as the World Bank has said. But I also do know from the very World Bank and from other international agencies and all of us, some of us who have traveled to other African countries and even developing countries, that motorbikes and tricycles are important means of transportation, almost in many, many emerging economies around the world. So Liberia is not the only place where people use motorbikes. So I think we need to be a little more careful and measured as we discuss this issue. Now, why is it that the government is now negotiating with motorcyclists and motorbikes, etc.? Because there's no law in Liberia that regulates them. There was no system or process by which they were doing commercial transportation of people. So it started after the war and it's been going on. Now, it happens in Ghana that got motorbikes that transport people. It happens in Uganda, as I was doing my research. They got motorbikes that transport people. A friend of mine just came from Uganda and sent a video of how they are regulated and all of that. And the other issue that motorcyclists and tricyclists address is the issue of transportation, limited movement of goods and services across these countries. Whether it's because of road network that cars are impassable, so therefore motorbikes and tricyclists can go where cars don't go, whether it's the limited vehicle space in the country, whether it's the lack of public transportation in the country, etc., which are all problems in Liberia. That's why these modes of transportation exist in many, many countries in Africa, not just Africa, but in many, as I said, emerging economies around the world. So what did the other countries do? They put systems in place. They wrote laws. I researched the law in Uganda. I researched the law in Ghana. I researched the law in Nigeria. They don't say we're going to ban no motorbike transportation, all of that. If this is a safety issue, then what we should do is to put in place safety regulations. I know Francis said the responsibility of government is safety, and he's 100% correct. But the responsibility of government is also is the economy. Is to make sure that its citizens are able to feed themselves. So how can we address this motorbike problem? The way we address it, which is happening right now, is twofold in my view. One of which is happening right now is twofold in my view. The one way to address it is to ensure safety, to make sure that people who are riding motorbikes are also following laws, existing road laws, and put them into place. So wear a helmet. Make sure you don't pass on somebody blind side. Have two view mirrors so you will see the car that are coming. Put only one person on it, and that one person must also have a helmet. I think these are very have a registration, have insurance. As I said the other day, I have a first cousin who died riding on a motorbike. The motorcycle man was going, the man knee hit the car, he fell off the motorbike, he died. If he had a helmet, he wouldn't die. So the issue is not necessarily the presence of motorbikes, it's the safety and the way they ride. And if we can put laws and regulations in place to regulate them, we got laws in this country. They tell you when the summer comes, got all the posting signs on the place. Motorcyclists are coming. You pull over, you the car. You do this, you give them process. That's what we need to do, and I think that's what the government is trying to do. We need to put processes and safety processes and insurance so that when there's an accident, people can be held accountable or people can be paid. There will be accidents. Planes fall from in the air. Cars veer off the road and kill people and destroy property. I don't think the approach is to say no motorbikes, no pimping in the streets. We got developed countries like Nigeria and Uganda and other Kenya that have motorbikes and things, but they don't have the death rates that we have. They don't have the accident rates that we have. Why don't they? The reason is to put these measures in place. And Francis, I'll tell you, the measures you just read are almost exactly the measures that exist in Uganda. And I will just take 30 seconds. Driving permit. You must have a driving permit in Uganda. Riding condition. The rider must hold a valid class A riding permit. Passengers. Motorcycle cannot carry passengers for hire or reward unless it has a special license issued by the Transport Administration. Um, Other requirements include certificate of fitness, third-party insurance, and all of those things. Those are exactly what we put into place in Liberia. Ghana. Ghana issued a traffic law around motorcycle in 2012. Road traffic regulators prohibit the use of motorcycle and three-wheelers for commercial activities. However, some regulations support commercial use of motorcycles, such as setting work time limits. So they have work time limits. You can't travel in the night. You can't travel too early. These regulations can help create employment. They focus on employment as well. Nigeria, the motorcyclist law, among the same things. So no, we're not the worst country in the world. We're just putting systems and processes into place that will provide the safety that we need, but also provide our people an income. And not only that, transport goods and services to market. We don't have roads for cars to travel all over and do whatever. We don't have enough cars traveling because of our road problem situation. And motorcyclist is able to bring a sick person or to bring the old lady fire coal or better board to the market so she can earn a living. So it's not only the motorcyclists that's earning a living, it's also the people who have been transported. Transportation is a very important means of economic growth in every country in the world.
All right. So let me come in here. I heard all of you, and here's my position on the issue. Um, Alfonso, the riding of motorcycle in Liberia came during the war, or during the Ellen time, put it that way, because there was none in Charles Taylor's presidency that I know of. But I started in Ellen's time. And for you to say that we didn't have systems in place that we address that, then I disagree. Because there's no special kind of way that you can say that anything that is capable of taking lives and destroying properties must have a special kind of way to follow traffic ordinance. Here in America, a motorbike, not just zooming and jumping all in front of people, cutting them off in the blind, doing this. When they come to the traffic light, they stop, they wait behind the very car that they're waiting that is in front of them, and everybody go into the traffic. So it's a natural phenomenon. So there's no special way they must do it. I think the problem here is that this politic thing has taken over Liberia, and it has hurt our country so bad that I don't think that we're going to move out of politics. Politics has influenced every decision we've made over the last 20 years, starting from Ellen to today. Politics. And if we can take politics out of all of the things that we want to normalize our country, and let's just use the systems and laws that we have on the books, the policies we put in place, and remove politics out of it, everything will work well for Liberia. The Liberian man can learn and he can adopt. Now, what's the driving age in America, and what's the driving age in Liberia? The driving age in Liberia, I believe, should be what? 17, 18? Which is the same as here, maybe 16, 17, 18?
16
So,
in America.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But go to Liberia and find a 13-year-old boy riding motorbike. For instance, am I lying? A 13-year-old boy riding motorbike with no accountability. Okay? So that's one of the downside to it. That 13-year-old boy should be trying to get education to better his life. The other premise here for this argument is that no job for the young people. Weren't we young people in our time? I just told you I hustled through life to get an education. Hustle hard through life to get an education. Had I reverted to riding bike, I will be anywhere in my life today. So we can't keep giving all of these excuses. I have no reason to say that the bikers cannot make a living, but they must follow the driving rule. Alphonso, if you drove in Liberia today, if you got a spiritual mouth, it will turn to a satanic mouth. Because the man will cost you for your own right, and then you got to cost them back because that's the only way you can feel good about it. I'm telling you the truth. It is that bad. And I thought it was necessary for the government to take action. And as minimal as the action is, I'm not even satisfied with the action. I think they must go hard because the country is reckless. If you experience it, you will know that the country is reckless. Reckless with these young people, the way they carry on. No rule of law. That is why a Yeke Koluba can come to advocate, because he himself is reckless. I don't think Yeke understands anything called policy making. He's a political buffoon who just make noise. So why wouldn't he propagate for recklessness and say the government needs jack and the government should back down on it? Why wouldn't politicians advocate? Because it's in their interest to look for votes. Will this country ever go anywhere if we continue to back down on the things that we must do to normalize our country? Do you know what investments and investors are not coming to Liberia? Just the traffic alone turned the people off. Just the traffic congestion and the lack of rule of law. People don't even follow traffic rule. The light is green. I mean red rather. The light is red. And the bikers come and pass you into the red light. Whether the cross traffic coming, they don't care. And then when you hit one of them at their own mistake, it becomes a detriment to you, costing your property to be damaged, even your life, because they just come from everywhere. They're so together to the point that you got no way to come out of that situation if the police are not there to protect you. Is this a country? And then they try to enforce a little piece of putting us back on good footing, and then everybody has their own take on it. I think what is right is what is right, by following all of the ordinances in the traffic, the regulation, put on the gadgets that required you to ride that motorbike, respect the traffic rule. You can put 10 million motorbike on the road here in America. They will follow the rule. It won't be Armageddon. They will follow the rule. Put 10 million motorbike here in Philadelphia, they will follow the rule because the police are capacitated to take care of anyone who goes contrary. So the other thing to this is that the government needs to capacitate the police. And the police need to be honest about doing their jobs. Not yielding to small $100 liberty fees here and there to let people go. At some point, the police need to become scrupulous, patriotic citizens who mean well for the country. Because it's a give and take. The bikers would test them. They would test them to the fullest. But where do they stand on implementation would be critical. And so that's my thought on it. I think it's doable. I appreciate it. And it must go beyond that. I understand that it's a form of employment to keep the economy going. But now that they're about to pay registration fee and insurance, that brings money to the coffers. Rather than doing it recklessly and radically, giving nothing back, causing more damage, more harm, and the society is not benefiting from anything. So that's my take on it. Police got to work. Bikers got to work. The association needs to help the police. The very leadership of the Bikers Association need to help the police in the implementation of some of these policies, rather than come to beg, to bend down, and turn the blind eye. And politicians need to stay out. Let us not infuse politics when it comes to most of these, what we call decision making with regards to implementation of rules and regulations to enhance the adherence to the rule of law and safety in our country. All of those people are just, they shouldn't be a part of it.
Volcano, I don't think that the politicians who intervene, particularly the vice president, I don't think it's undue political intervention or undue political influence. Every sector, everything that happens in government that we do is governed by politics. If we, whether or not we got food in the country or electricity in the country or we get roads or we get whatever, is governed by politics. So there's no way we can take politics out of those basic things, especially things that have to do with the public and public safety and public health and all of those things. I think the issue here is not for us not to focus on removing motorbikes from Liberia altogether.
We can.
Yeah, we cannot. What we need to do is two things: put in place regulations. Even the United States, the regulations you guys talk about, the motor vehicle regulations, are not exactly the same as motorcycle regulations in Liberia. So what we need to do, in my view, is number one, put regulations into place to govern motorcyclists and how they ride, which is a good thing now. We got rules to say they must wear a helmet, they must carry only one person, they must have two stuff, they must register, they must have special license plates, they must have wear reflective things so people can see them. That will enhance safety. So the thing we need to focus on now is police enforcing those rules and regulations. That's a critical element to it. I will end on this point. We should never forget that those modes of transportation play an important role, not just in the livelihood of motorcyclists, but in helping the woman who's bringing her adults and something from the place.
Alphonso,
and it's also a cheaper means of transportation.
Yes, follow the golden rule. That's all.
So all we should focus on is, now that we have some regulations in place, let's insist that they follow those rules. They might not carry big chair or something or panel door on it, so they can't be bumping around things, and hopefully the process will improve. And that's what we need to focus on and push, and not arguing whether they should be in the streets or not be in the streets at all.
Hello, guys.
Hold on, Moses. I want to come in quick. None of us are arguing that they shouldn't be in the street or not. We're just saying that follow the safety
Francis and
measure.
Francis almost entirely suggested that, but that's fine.
No.
We can
But
move on.
here's the other point. Moses, we're not going back. We're going to continue, but I want to take this other piece to it. Many people, including Rivers S Pro, is arguing about the helmet. So he says that under the rescue mission, all the people who got to go with the helmet, they will go to church, and where they will put the helmet. The pastor need to find somewhere for the helmet. But the point I want to make here is, if I buy my personal helmet, it's like me going to practice. I don't think motorbike is the way I would go for everywhere I'm going. If I know that I'm going to ride a bike, I grab my helmet, get it in my little, backpack. When I flag the bike down, and I put my helmet on and go and put it back in my backpack. But and it's something that can be done, like you said. It's being done in Uganda. It's being done in Rwanda. It's been done in many countries. So why are we making the helmet piece now a component that we want to ridicule the process, when in fact it is the mean material that saves lives? That's what I wanted to set the tune with Moses coming now, because
But
that's the
look,
helmet thing. Yeah,
mm,
you know,
look, Jonathan.
Liberians always
Yeah,
look for the small things to make excuse, right? Good. So
yeah.
let's talk about the helmet quick.
Okay, look, let me just say this. Alfonso, I heard you. Uh, I would like to begin like this. It's like a woman
Moses, you
who
got
has
2 minutes, so
children.
it's
I know,
8:22.
yeah.
Look at the time.
It's like a woman who has children, and she goes and says, "Well, I prostitute to feed my children." Is that morally all right? Of course not. It's the same thing we're talking about here. People say, "Oh, the people need jobs. Oh, the people need to live. They have families to feed." But does that mean that there should be no, rule of law? If you come, you run into my vehicle, I come down, I said, "But man, you hit my car." Then right away you insult me, and a group of people come and set my vehicle ablaze. They say, "Oh yeah, the people need job." Alfonso, you read it stated in Uganda, in Nigeria, and other parts of the world, even including this great country that we are in. There are regulations, traffic regulations. Our problem is our refusal. I will not even say failure. Our refusal to adhere to the rule of law. Some of the people have already started trivializing the thing. Oh, everybody, everybody will be wearing helmets. Eh? Why we are changing helmet with somebody who is sick? But here, my sister, my brother, you are not coerced to ride motorbike. If you know that riding or wearing a helmet that you think that another person wore will cause some health problem for you, walk with your hand sanitizer. Get tissue. When they give it to you, you wipe it. Okay? If you don't want to do that, ride taxi. You have other modes of transportation. But the law is the law. Unfortunately, what is happening in Volcano is that even our political leaders themselves are undermining the process. The decision to reverse this whole thing, that hey, don't be in the street on May the 15th, that implied the street was setting errors. That decision was reached at the highest level. It's not only the vice president. I would surmise that that conversation was even held with the president. And as a result of wanting to maintain political support, they say, "Oh yeah, go ahead and tell the people, tell Kumo that, hey, look, this is what we have decided." We can't run a society like this.
All right, let's see if another
Yes.
last quick. Francis,
Yes, sir. All right. Okay. My
what's your two
colleague.
minutes? Because we get
Yeah. I'm going to be within the time frame. My colleague Alphonso wanted to turn my conversation as not supporting the motorcyclists. When I go to Liberia, because of what I do, I use motorcycle too. But guess what? I bought my helmet from the pawn store. I got it. And let me tell you something. Now, other than getting involved into dangerous business, that's not my argument. My argument is we as a country, as a people, we subscribe to democratic principles. Where your right stop, there where my own begins. Okay? So there is no way that anybody on this platform and even other people out there that will tell me there has been no law, city ordinance, and traffic regulation on the books prior to 2004, because that was Judy Bryan came to being as chairperson of the power sharing government. There we started experiencing motorbikes, rather, and all of that. It started with the smaller one, pen, we used to call it. And now it generated into where we are, and then the tricycle came. We got traffic laws. But like Bro Moses said, we have vehemently refused to live within the confines of rule of law. We want motorbike people, like here in America, when you're driving your car, you say share the road. Even at elementary level, they are telling the elementary children to wear helmet when they are on their bicycle. Guess what? My 6-year-old child sitting with me in the car. I'm driving on the 35-mile speed limit road. I'm going 40. And guess what? She told me, said, Daddy, it is 35. I said, shut up. That's what I said. I'll be honest. Do we have the kind of consciousness, safety consciousness in our country? We do not. The motorcyclists are following the leaders because they take oppositely consciously, and we the taxpayer, we pay them. So the society is unfair. The way they treat us, we the motor vehicles owner, the motorbike people should be treated the same way. We are not even telling them not to plow the street. But Alphonso, you know for sure, before Ellen came, 4 people were sitting at the back of Texas. Today, it's 3. Even Patrick Sulu could not change that, okay? Before just Weah government came, motorbike people were not allowed to plow from EAWA to Duco. Let's stop it. Just Weah, Patrick Sulu Police Department, they brought them back on the ministry. We are not saying don't bring them. We are saying we all should be treated fairly with some sort of equality. Now, you talk about other countries, the one you fail to talk about, their political leaders don't jump into policy making, into regulation and law enforcement because of their political interest for the next election. Our political leaders are doing that. That's what they are doing. Bolton is the number 2 largest city in Sierra Leone. I went there. A few weeks ago, I was in Bolton, in Sierra Leone. I went to Kenema, number 3 largest city to Freetown. I went there. It is never the way it is in Liberia. There are motorcyclists there. They wear their helmet. They wear some reasonable safety gear. Every single motorbike got a license plate. And you see it visible. I don't have to ask questions. So this thing here is let the people get on the street, but they should abide by regulation, laws, and city ordinance, and they shouldn't hit my car. I ask questions, and they put my car ablaze, and my life is threatening, and they are putting 3-4 BBs on the motorbike. Police need to do their job, and that's all we're saying. They need to be safe, provide safety for themselves, their passengers, and the public. And we are in danger because of their dangerous behavior. And that's why we say police people should do better than that, and politicians should stay away from it.
I think politicians make law and policy. To ask politicians to stay away is just not understanding how government runs.
They don't enforce anything. They need to stay away from enforcement.
So real quickly, just 5 seconds. So first of all, I think, and I will repeat, politicians have a right to get involved in the process. And I think what they did is exactly what you're talking about, Francis. Exactly what Moses talked about. They intervened and they put into place the same regulations you saw in Bo and you saw in other places. Wear helmet, wear protective gear, carry only 1 person. So even if their intervention was exactly what you wanted, they intervened.
No, that was that's the intervention that was put on the books. Hold on, that was the intervention put on the books for everyone.
Okay.
But now they decided that they will only enforce it for the people who want to enter Monrovia to follow suit. The other people who are in the smaller areas like Tupo Road, all of those places, going police academy, just go by your business, do whatever you want to do.
Okay. What I'm saying is
Because
starting,
because the politicians wanted them to have access to Monrovia, and that is why they put that piece.
I really believe they should have access to Monrovia. They will help a lot of people get around. How many Liberian children and mothers can really get access to take their children to school, to take their marketing?
But did you watch the video of the day of enforcement when people walked from Congo Town, from red light, and some people said, I love it because it's good for the country. It will help us to shape our country.
Yeah. So
people were in agreement
with the regulations.
Yes.
Yeah. So the politicians have done exactly what we are talking about, but we're still saying politicians should not get involved in policy.
No, but the optics, you can see the optics, but let us not dwell on it.
Yeah, let's not dwell on that. But I want to believe, and I want all of us to walk away here from here
left to do whatever country is this.
Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead. But let's go ahead.
Yeah. So who's starting whatever country is this?
Moses will start. Moses, I volunteer.
I will start with the people of the wild fees. And John Weah woke up one morning and told the people, see, all your children now will go to school free. Nobody will have to pay wild fee. None of the mail giving the people the low.
Yeah. So
what kind of president will give the low to people?
So folks, y'all bring your whatever country is this. We got 5 minutes to do the whatever country is this. So whatever country is this that the people are not able to discern between private jets and the intention. Sooner the president, the new president ride private jet, then they say, "Oh, the man
corrosion."
Not corrosion.
And you know who doing it? Our so-called big journalists, Front Page Africa, and all of those people. President doing what job we are doing, riding private jet.
Yeah. What about country is this, man? You know, Volcano can say, "Look, Moses, I have a Range Rover. I see that you're going to the event here. Use my Range Rover and go." And people see me over here. They say, "My man, see, he just started work. Go. See, he stole the people money." They don't investigate, my man. What type of country is this, my man? Yeah.
So what type of country is this? That the party chairman wanted to be the NPA managing director. He didn't get it. So he said, "But we'll give you the board." He said, and then they said, "But the board, you will be the boss man for the NPA managing director," and he was happy. What type of country is this?
I need him now in the picture, man.
The photo.
What type of country is this? That the same man decided to ban G, create a whole issue, like to say the papa forgot about him, and the papa was sharing all the jobs.
Yeah, my man. What type of country is this? That the only way you get a job, you got to bear G.
What type of country is this that Liberian people think they?
You got to bear Gomo, my man.
What type of country?
Get that man something, man.
Let's hear from Alphonso, Moses.
Yeah, what type of country is this that Liberian people think that this WAEC government just supposed to solve all the problems in 3 months' time?
I tell you, what type of country is this?
What type of country is this that the Minister of Information using lawnmower to mow the back of the ministry? And that big news.
That big news, though.
But what type of country also is this? That the new LBS Director General changing one light bulb, then that news again. That a job there?
What type of country is this? The new LBS managing
what type of country is this?
Hold on.
Go ahead, Francis.
What type of country is this with the new LBS managing director with both of pay employee $50 a month USD, 10,000 liberty? What about country is
that they
this?
retire people. What type of country is this? That you got former, you have retired employees at LBS, 10 of them. The total annual payment for them is what, 13,000 Liberian dollars.
Less than $100.
So the current director general said, look, I will increase each of you guys' money by 10,000 Liberian dollars. So because they have one of the guys that was receiving $1,000 a month.
1,000 what? Liberty?
Liberian dollars.
Oh, yes,
You increase the pure money by extra 10,000.
but 1,000 Liberty at $5. It's $9.50, so that's $5.
Yeah, yeah. So if I go
10,000 would be $50. But
For
what type of
God's
country
sake.
is this? Let's get this quick.
Yeah.
From, where's the one? Yeah, Thomas Awaji. What type of country is this where the people expect the president to drive to neighboring countries for important meetings?
What type of country is this? They say, oh, they're Boaka Patru Guinea. Oh.
To go to Guinea-Bissau. We saw a convo. We went all through Borahu.
Patru Guinea, Patru Ivory Coast.
Say like, bro, hold on, Moses. I know you can speak the Creole small, but let me try my own. They say, will you see the Rabian president? Did he pass here?
You see that man? They say, who the man they talk about? The man from Liberia, the president, the man the pass here. With motorcade.
Yeah, what's how he go? He said, they go Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau.
And they say, he will reach 4 days from now.
They say the man go what motor? They say yeah, the man they take motor.
What kind of country is this? The former talk show host is MIA.
It's very interesting, man.
Huh?
I say,
very interesting.
What type of country is it?
The man travel with motor.
We'll come back to that. You say what?
What type of country is it? The former talk show host and strong supporter of Joseph Boakai is MIA.
Oh, the what?
Hey, my man, the Henry Costa man talking about. But let me catch some of these quick. And we'll come back to Baka Rani, a car to go to foreign country
to Guinea-Bissau.
Since the Brentford say he can rap play. All right. So, what type of country is this where people are selling chicken feathers for a living?
Yeah.
And I saw that thing.
Yeah, $10 for one, $10 for one chicken feather.
But do one way.
But people use it to scratch your ears.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that thing. You're right. What type of country is this that people are against public safety? Yeah, what type of country is this?
I tell you.
What type of country is this? What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji? We'll come back to that. What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where opposition people pray for the new government to fail, yet they continue to live in abject poverty?
Yeah,
what type of country is this? Christopher Wesley, what type of country is this? Labor is not respected 3 months until you get paid. What type of country is this? But let's come back to it. So what type of country is this that the people expect the president to drive to neighboring countries for important meetings? So if the Pape wanted to ride a private jet and he had to be in Guinea-Bissau, and he said, my man, get a motorcade together. We go with Guinea-Bissau. And then they start from Douala way. And they're on their way through Bamagida Highway. Yeah, Bamagida Highway. They cross over the Mano River. Then they enter. And they think we're talking here. Marabio don't even know that they're passing through.
They make up back. He said, good man. He said, Baba, what do you do? You don't see her? He be Liberia president. Oh, that man with the motor car?
That you want to call Joseph Boakai?
Yeah, he be Boakai. Oh, the man they get all this small to be out.
What's how he go? What's how he come out? What's how he go?
He dey go to Guinea-Bissau. Oh, really? But
but are you serious? This man will go to Guinea-Bissau?
yeah, but the people that go for Guinea-Bissau.
What did they go for? Eating?
They say the ECOWAS people say the man will go, but you not got money now. So the man they go.
You not got money to fly plane?
Yeah, the man, you said now, but the way Weah don't do those people country, no money there.
He feeling the people country.
So Weah don't take all the money, but no money there. So Joseph Baka they go for motorcar.
To go to Guinea-Bissau for ECOWAS meeting.
Yeah. They said the meeting that it be there for 4 days, but I don't think that man could make you though. Because Guinea-Bissau.
And the papi is old though.
Yeah, the man go get sick.
He get sick on the road though.
The man is here 20 motor be How many motorcar they care? But they tell me say it be 20 year old.
And you see the ambulance too.
Yeah, the ambulance everything.
And I see the fire truck. They put fire truck in the convoy.
Yeah, because the men go get sick now. So they go put them for the ambulance. They put the men for ambulance. They say John Weah don't take all the money out of my people. The man don't carry it out. The man don't carry the Liberia people money.
Listen, Thomas, why you say the mistake complete because the people got to buy gas for the comfort.
That's it. Because all the money they never pay on gas everything.
So then the Freetown man they say now. So
yeah,
I see the other car. I see plenty tank in there. In fact, he has a whole tanker in the convoy.
Yeah, for gas.
Yeah, he carrying gasoline tanker in the convoy.
They get one tanker.
Yeah, the tanker say LPRC.
Yeah.
What is that? Boat.
That the people where they sell the petrol.
Oh, so now in Waka Convoy, you have an ambulance, you have a fire truck, and then you have the gas tanker because they have to supply the 20-car convoy.
Yeah,
because he's on his way to Guinea-Bissau.
The man don't have everything for it. They take everything with them. But he said, yeah, that man, George Weah. Yeah, boy, then they don't take all the money there for the country.
Yeah, you remember that trip he made to France the same day the pape took office, the man left the country.
Yeah, the man don't.
And the man went for over 1 month.
They don't go for France, Italy.
Is that trip where the man was feeding the pigeon?
Yes.
Yeah.
I say the man don't take boku money. He don't put them for place.
And he flew private jet.
Yeah.
Now they say the papi can fly private jet now, so he take a convoy to go to Guinea-Bissau.
Yeah, and you know what? That man there, he be sick. Woman, hey man, I dey tell you say Boakai, he be sick man. So if the man gets sick now, what they go do? Oh, they go put him for the ambulance. So before they get a Guinea-Bissau, the people meeting, oh, I am a brother. General, you're going for our organization convention. You say you're driving right
to Minnesota. Oh
before
man.
you get up, I'm at the toe and low.
Oh, and then in fact, you gotta pay towing Cerulin because Cerulin got towed now. From what I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah, the man go through all the African country when they say when they get to the top, they say this man he be president. Oh, he be Liberia president. Oh Lord Jesus, man, Liberia people
well,
interesting, man.
but my man, let's wrap it up. Francis,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
give you a
okay, let Francis finish. I just wanted to make one quick announcement. Yeah.
Francis, make your quick 1 minute closure.
All right. First and foremost, I want to say thanks to your team, Volcano, for the invite as usual. And also want to say thanks to our many followers, those that are listening to us right now, and those that will come later on to listen to us. In addition to that, we are asking our government, today's government, not yesterday, saying we all believe that government is continuity, they need to do better. And the law enforcement institutions need to do their job. The politicians, again, they need to stay away from these enforcement because it matters a lot to us as a country and as a people. And even the craving for investors to come in our country. The country cannot be in a kind of extreme disorganized manner that you will have other strangers to come. If I can even catch hard time, Banamela Major Joya, if I can catch hard time, we navigating the traffic from just GSC road to go to EAW, or maybe from EAW to town, then just imagine what will happen to folks who are live abroad, who got their money, and you think that they will go and invest it. We are not angry people. We are just Liberians like you that we all want to see our country do better. And the only way we're going to do better, our policy makers, our policy enforcement institution, they need to do their job and they need to do it better. This is the 21st century. We cannot continue to do what we did yesterday. And all of us should be here accountable for our stewardship at different times for the betterment of our country. I want to say again, thanks to everybody. And we'll always be here to do what we got to do as part of our contribution as Liberians, regardless of where we are and regardless of who we are.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
All right, we'll take leave of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Moses, quickly.
Yeah, quickly. I want to say it was indeed a great show, and I want to say thank you to the police for the great job it's doing in enforcing traffic regulations in the country. Let the motorcyclists, let all Liberians support this because it is in the interest of all Liberians. You can have people who have become law unto themselves. No society thrives in the midst of a breakdown in the rule of law. We need to hold ourselves accountable. We have to learn to do things in keeping with the laws of the country. Now, the announcement I would like to make quickly for Volcano is that I want to announce to our many followers in the world, the Liberia's cultural ambassador Judy Andy is currently in the United States. Ambassador Andy is here on a tour. As I speak to you right now, she's in Providence, Rhode Island. She will be traveling to Minnesota. She will be traveling to Virginia. She will also be traveling to Atlanta. She's expected to meet with a number of senior officials of the U.S. government, all in the interest of Liberia. She's here to propagate messages of peace and promote the culture of Liberia. Prior to coming here, she led a government delegation to Barbados. Efforts are being made to have the ambassador appear in the issues room, and so Volcano will discuss the details. So I just want the world to know that the cultural ambassador is in the United States to promote messages of peace.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Moses.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. Thank you.
We
Bye bye.
take leave of you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here tonight. It was a pleasure having all of you here. Good show. Brought some laughter here. Thomas Awaji, that was interesting that the people want the president to use convoy to go to neighboring countries. And we had to do a quick skit on it. Christopher Wesley, also thank you for your insight. Flomo Livingston, as usual, good to see you. You know, we got to keep doing this because at the end of the day, this country needs good, and the benefit will be for all of us. Hashim Fambule, Rivers Pro, thank you for joining us. Jemima, Jema, Cisco, I saw Tony and Brooks, Adiaha Umbo, and all of you for coming. Elvis Morris, it was good seeing you. Fergie Monyu, of course, always good to see you, my brother. Thanks so much for all you guys do to join us here night in and night out as we come here to discuss. We'll be back here on Tuesday, God's willing, as usual, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But again, thanks for being there. Volcano Shelton on behalf of the team saying good night and have a good one.